Welcome back. Oui. Welcome back, guys. Please tell me when you're able to see the presentation.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, Efraín. Liliana. Well, let's continue, guys. Who was Liliana was the last person who read, right?
Yes.
Choose a victim, Liliana.
Okay, Marisa.
Advantages and disadvantages of holistic. Advantages. Gives diagnostic information to teacher. Gives formative feedback to students. I can see the letter.
No.
Easier.
Why?
Easier to link to instruction to holistic rubrics. Good for formative assessment. Adaptable for summative assessment. If you need an overall score for grading, you can combine the scores. Disadvantages. Does not provide specific feedback for improvement. Does not provide detailed information. May be difficult to provide an overall score.
Thank you. Thank you. So this is why it is used, for instance, with TKT, also with some other certifications, such as GC from Trinity College. Marisa, choose somebody else, please.
Georgina.
Okay, use a holistic rubric when you want a quick snapshot of achievement. A single dimension is adequate to define quality.
That's when you want to use or need to use a holistic rubric. Please, just on the note, if somebody can take pictures or take screen shots and share them with me, please, I'll appreciate that. Or take pictures with your cell phone and you can share them with me, please, from time to time. I'll appreciate it. Okay, Georgina, choose somebody else, please.
Okay, Azarelli.
Azarelli. Just give me a moment, Azarelli.
Okay.
Just give me a second.
Smile so I can take a picture. Qué guapones todos.
Okay. There. Are you seeing it now?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. Let's continue, please.
Okay, analytic rubrics. Analytic rubrics, two-dimensional rubrics with levels of achievement as columns and assessment criteria as rows, allows you to assess participants' achievements based on multiple criteria using a single rubric. You can assign different weights value to different criteria and include an overall achievement by totaling the criteria, written in a table form.
Thank you. So as you see, there are two types of rubrics, holistic and analytic. For instance, the one that you designed is analytic. Thank you, Monserrat. Please choose somebody else.
Medium.
Thank you.
Advantages and disadvantages of analytic rubrics. Advantages. Scoring is faster than with analytic rubrics. Requires less time to achieve inter-rater reliability. Good for summative assessments. Disadvantages. Taking more time to score than holistic rubrics. Unless each point of each criterion is well defined, raters may not arrive at the same score.
Thank you. Thank you. This is why it's very important to also design a very good analytic rubric. Choose somebody else, please.
René.
Use an analytic rubric when you want to see a relative strength and weaknesses. You want to take feedback. You want to assess complicated skills or performance. You want students to self-assess their understanding or performance.
Thank you. Yes, so now we have a more clear description of what holistic rubric and analytic rubrics are, and also their characteristics, advantages and disadvantages, and when to use them. So now we can have a clear picture of them. René, choose somebody else.
José Luis.
Thank you.
Okay, holistic rubrics versus analytic rubrics. Holistic. Single grading scale, all criteria considered in the evaluation is included together. A reader assigns a single score. Example, AP exam. Doesn't provide as granular targeted feedback on student performance. And the analytic multi-component grading scale describe each evaluation criteria separately. Raters assign a score for each component, along with an overall score, total of weighted. Provides more granular targeted feedback, more time consuming to create.
Thank you, José Luis. So there you have the main differences between the two rubrics. Right now, we're going to be working with analytic rubrics. José Luis, please choose somebody else.
Nachito.
Okay. Criteria. The criteria identify the trait, feature, or dimension which is to be measured and include a definition and an example to clarify the meaning of each trait being assessed. I don't know how to say.
Assessed.
Assessed. Yes.
Thank you, Ignacio. Yes, we're going to go through the elements of the analytic rubric. The first one is criteria. Thank you. Ignacio, choose somebody else, please.
Georgina.
Criteria are derived from assessments, checklists, grading sheets, or college.
Thank you, Georgina. So these are the aspects from which we take the criteria. Please, one thing that I forgot to tell you is that I'm going to be sharing this presentation with you, but please remind me if I forget to. I'm going to try to share them as soon as this class is finished, so you can have them as a reference guide. Okay? But please, if I forget, please remind me.
Okie dokie.
Georgina, choose a victim, please.
Okay, Rene.
Levels of performance. Levels of performance are often labeled as adjectives which describe the performance levels.
Thank you. You have done this already. Rene, choose somebody else.
Josué,
I'm here. Okay, levels of performance. Determine the degree of performance it has been met in and will provide for constant and objective assessment and better feedback to students.
Thank you. So this is the purpose of the levels of performance. Choose
Uh-huh.
somebody else, Josué.
Efrain.
Levels of performance. These levels tell students what they are expected to do. Levels of performance can be used without descriptors, but descriptors help in achieving objectively.
Thank you, Efrain. So that's why it's very important to add those descriptors. Efrain, choose somebody else.
Gaby.
Scores. Scores make up the system of numbers or values used to rate each criterion and often are combined with levels of performance.
Excellent. So we need to have this very clear. Somebody else, Gabby?
Lluvia.
Okay, scores. Begin by asking how many points are needed to adequately describe the range of performance used to see students' work. Range of possible performance.
She's gone.
Yes, so thank you.
Hey, no. Did you listen to me?
The thing is, Lluvia, suena como cortado. Well,
Really?
thank you. Yes?
Okay, I can.
No. Still the same.
No?
No.
Okay, I'm going to. No tengo internet.
Don't worry, Lluvia. Thank you. So in this case, those are the points that you're going to assign to each criteria or in the descriptors in order to provide a good assessment of the performance of the students in the particular aspects that you're going to assess. Thank you. Lluvia, choose somebody else, please. Or anyone who wants to participate.
Okay, teacher. Descriptors. Descriptors are explicit description of the performance and show how the score is derived and what is expected of the students.
Thank you, Georgina. That's why it's very important to include them. Thank you. Choose somebody else, please.
Gabby.
Descriptors. Descriptors spell out each level, gradation of performance for each criterion and describe what performance at a particular level looks like.
Thank you. Choose somebody else.
Liliana.
Descriptors. Descriptors describe how well students work in distinguished from the work of their peers and will help you to distinguish between each student work.
That's why descriptors help us to define objective assessment or evaluation. Thank you, Liliana. To somebody else?
Miriam.
Miriam. So just wait a second, please. So here we have an example of a grading rubric with all the elements that we have covered. The task, the level of performance. In this case, we have 3: excellent, good, poor. The criteria, here we have 4, which are number of sources, historical accuracy, organization, and bibliography. Also, we have the score for each criteria, which is excellent has 3 points, good has 2 points, and poor has 1 point. And more importantly, we have the descriptors for each aspect. For instance, the excellent score, which is 3 points for number of sources, is from 10 to 12. Good, 5 to 9, and poor, 1 to 4. And in organization, an excellent organization is that you can easily tell from which sources information was drawn. Good organization can tell with difficulty from where the information came. And a poor organization cannot tell from which source information came. So this is an example of analytical grading rubric. We have another example here with colors. And this is very similar to the ones that you provided in this activity. So, so far, what do you think of rubrics? Do you like them? You don't? Do you think that they are useful? What's your opinion of them? What do you think of them?
I think that they are very useful when we use them adequately. For example, if we use them in a quiz that in where our students can have more than one answer and our rubric is well established, it will be easier for us to assess.
Okay, very good.
Nowadays, it's a very useful tool because we need of a rubric to work nowadays with this pandemic.
Thank you. Thank you. Somebody else? Okay, we'll be moving on. Thank you for your comments. Miriam, now can you help us?
The writing process. Pre-writing, thinking about a topic, brainstorming and planning. Drafting, quickly putting thoughts on paper. Revising, reworking the organization and details. Editing, reviewing and correcting spelling, grammar, capitalization, and punctuation. Evaluating, reflecting and assessing what has been written. Publishing, sharing final writing with others.
Thank you. This is also part of the work that you done in activity 3, if I'm not mistaken.
Sorry, am I wrong, or in the video was only 5 steps?
Yes, yes, in the video was different.
I remember only 5.
Yes, it's different, but in essence,
In the first one.
It's the same. Yes.
But in the second one, the video mentioned the evaluating and publishing.
Exactly.
Yes, in this one there's 6, but in the video there were 5, but it's the same thing.
Exactly.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Lluvia. Median, choose somebody else, please.
Aaron.
Thank you. Process of writing. Pre-writing is a section which you explore possible topics, choose a topic, and then gather. How do you pronounce the word?
Gather.
Gather details. You can include your writing. Drafting involves putting ideas down on paper in a rough format.
Thank you, Aaron. Choose somebody else, please.
Efraín.
Revising is a stage in which you rework your roof draft to improve both its form and its content. Editing and proofreading. There are the stages in which you polish your writing, fixing errors in grammar, spelling, and mechanics. Publishing and presenting are the sharings of your writing.
Thank you, Efrain. Choose somebody else, please.
Liliana.
These are the stages of the writing process. Pre-writing is the stage in which you explore possible topics, choose a topic, and then gather details you can include in your writing.
Thank you, Liliana. And here I'm going to share with you some activities. For instance, free writing, where students write for a specified period of time without taking their from the page. Usually 3 minutes for a first attempt, and then typically for about 5 to 8 minutes. This is one option for pre-writing. Another is brainstorming. We have covered this with speaking, but is essentially the same for writing. Another one and very common is listing. The students produce a lengthy list of all the main ideas and subcategories that come to mind for a given topic or a given theme. Another, so now we go to drafting. Please choose somebody else.
Ignacio.
Okay. Drafting involves putting ideas down on paper in a rough format. 1. Shaping your writing. Focus on the form. Each form of writing has its own set of objectives. Attract your reader's attention with a strong lead. Second, providing elaboration. As you develop each of the paragraphs in the body of your paper, focus on elaborating or developing your key points by providing us a throughout set of facts, examples, and details.
Thank you, Ignacio. Choose somebody else, please.
Azarelli.
Oh, sorry. Just wait a second, please, Azarelli. Here in shaping your writing has to do focusing on the form. Remember, form has to do with grammar, but in this case also has to do with the layout of the document. Remember, each type of writing has its own layout or organization, and it helps us to attract your reader's attention with a strong lead, with a strong presentation, with a strong layout, and also with the correct form. And in providing elaboration, as the name says, you elaborate on your ideas, on your thoughts in writing to provide, to make your ideas clearer to your possible readers. And now, please, Sareli.
Okay, revising is a stage in which you rework your rough draft to improve both its form and its content. Using a systematic approach, ratiocination, well, can you help me with that word?
Ratiocination.
Ratiocination, applying logic to the way you look at your
micro, Azareli.
yeah, I was moving the images. Applying logic to the way you look at your work by color coding items for analysis. At each stage, use a process of color coding and marking clues in your work to help you revise. Number 2, revising your overall structure. Start by examining the soundness of your structure or overall organization. Your ideas should flow logically from beginning to the end.
Thank you. Yes, in the first step, ratiocination, you have to look at your paper, your document, or your writing from a very critical point of view. Some authors suggest that you do this not as soon as you write your document, but wait for an hour and then you can have a fresh look at it. And also in revising your overall structure, well, it has to do with how your paragraph and your sentences come together. And one idea or the ideas of a paragraph flow naturally to the ideas of the next paragraph. So the reader enjoys to read your document or your writing. Azareli, please choose somebody else.
Georgina?
Revising your paragraph, consider the way each sentence contributes to the point of the paragraph. Have you evaluate your draft, rewrite, or eliminate any sentence that are not effective? Revising your sentence. Check to see that they flow smoothly from one to the next. Look to see that you have avoided the pattern of being most of your sentence in the same way.
So here, as we can see, it's very clear what you need to do in each of these steps. Choose somebody else, please.
Marisa.
Revising your word choice. Make sure that each word conveys the exact meaning you intend. Also, look for the repetition of words and make revisions to reduce the number of the most commonly repeated words. Peer review. Work with one or more classmates to get fresh perspective on your writing. Mi perro.
Perrote, diría yo.
Un perrote.
Se nos fue el teacher.
Se fue la luz. Veo todo negro
Fue la luz el día.
su pantallita.
¿Qué rollo? ¿Por qué están callados?
Because it is recording.
Ok. ¿Quién va a dirigir la clase? Liliana.
Ok, nos vemos hasta el otro sábado.
You, Josué.
Yes, guys,
Okay.
sorry. I had a small problem, a minor
We need
problem.
you, teacher.
Let's continue. Here you can see what some authors propose as writing correction codes that you can put in your students' paper so they can know what's the problem or what do they need to correct and act accordingly. I'm going to be sharing this presentation with you so you can take a proper look to them. This is one. And we're going to be seeing another one in a few minutes. Okay. So those are more strategies that you can use for this part of the stage of the writing process. Okay, this is really important. Please choose somebody else, Marisa.
Miriam.
Editing and proofreading are the stages in which you polish your writing, fixing errors in grammar, and
Thank you. Choose somebody else, please.
Liliana.
Proofreading. This is a process whereby the text is being scanned for grammar, syntax, and spelling errors. Editing. This process concentrates less on the form and more of the terminology.
Thank you. This is very well. Those aspects, as teachers, we tend to overlook them. And the thing is that if we don't do them with our students, well, the writing is incomplete. We have to identify the processes and the steps and how we can help them with each process. So their writing can be more complete and also more correct. Thank you. And here we have some proofreading marks that are suitable for this stage. When I'm going to be sharing this presentation with you, so you can take a better look at them with more time. And I'm going to share also some editing techniques that you can use with your students. And we have some practical writing tasks that you can use in your classes. For instance, things to do lists that are useful for practicing verb phrase forms. It can be used for present and also future tense. Also, as very similar, things completed list to use with the past tense. Shopping lists, notes, and also messages. You can use them to work with the writing processes, with your students. Okay, guys, now, as you know, next week you're going to be working in teams. Here are the teams. Team number 1, well, is Marisa, Rene, and Aaron. If you want to take notes. Team number 2 is Jose Luis, Josue, Ignacio, and Efraín. Team number 3, Azareli, Miriam, Gabi, and Lluvia. And team number 4, we have Georgina, Liliana, and Adilene. Those are the teams that we're going to be working with next week.
Very good.
Okay. Guys, let me take a picture of you. Let's wait for Azareli. Okay, Azareli, smile. Say cheese. Thank you. Okay, guys. Bueno, ya la clase ya la terminamos el día de hoy. Les quiero dar las gracias personalmente por apoyarme, por el horario. De verdad, muchas gracias. Me sirve de mucho. Y una cosa que me interesa mucho comentarles, miren, acabo de terminar de dar la clase de certificación de inglés para los compañeros de octavo semestre. ¿Cuál es el problema? Me imagino que muchos de ustedes, su propósito o su proyecto es entrar a las clases en educación básica, ya sea preescolar, primaria o secundaria. Díganme si me equivoco, en educación pública, ¿no?
Tiene razón.
Así es.
El chiste es esto, es muy importante, miren. La convocatoria para admisión ya salió. ¿Y cuál fue el problema de ellos? El problema fue que para admisión les piden a ustedes un documento que se llama CENI, que es el certificado de nivel de idioma. Y les piden que tengan ese CENI en nivel 12, que de acuerdo al marco común europeo es un B2. Bueno, el problema es que de los 12 alumnos que hay en octavo semestre, de los 12 solamente uno cumple con ese requisito. Entonces están en veremos a ver si van a poder participar. Ojalá sí puedan participar. A lo que voy, ¿por qué les comento esto? Porque ustedes jóvenes, desde ya, mi recomendación, desde ya es que vayan viendo con qué certificación van a lograr ese nivel B2. Puede ser TOEFL, puede ser los más comunes, ¿no? TOEFL, TOEIC, IELTS, Aptis es el que anda muy de moda ahorita también. El chiste es que le den un documento para que ustedes después de eso, de que les den el documento ese, que tengan un B2, puedan cambiarlo por el certificado CENI, porque eso le están pidiendo, el certificado CENI, no el documento de TOEFL, no el documento de TOEIC, no el documento de Aptis. Y toma tiempo. Ahorita, por ejemplo, CENI no está entregando certificados. Entonces es un problema, ¿no? Entonces, mi sugerencia para ustedes es, desde ya, vayan viendo cómo certificarse, lograr el B2 y después, muchas veces el programa de inglés, el PRONI, automáticamente les ¿cómo se dice? Les promueve pues que les llegue el certificado CENI, pero si no, pues ustedes deben de buscarlo, ¿no? Para que cuando llegue el momento dentro de un año, dicen un año, pero un año se va volando. Dentro de un año ustedes ya tengan ese documento para poder participar sin ningún problema. Recuerden, el documento de, TOEFL, TOEIC o IELTS debe de estar vigente. Si no está vigente, pues es otro problema, ¿no?
Teacher, hay instituciones que aplican exámenes y ellos mismos hacen el trámite con CENI. Hay instituciones que después se dedican. Ahí en UDO no lo hacen, en las aplicadoras que yo conozco en WhatsApp, creo que no hacen ellos el trámite de CENI, es personal. Pero hay otras aplicadoras, incluso en varias en línea que he estado checando por lo mismo, ya les había comentado a los compañeros, que sí te promueven ellos al trámite, pues que es gratis de todas maneras, no cobran por tramitarlo. Pero pues siempre pues hay algunas. No sé si tengas que mandarlo en físico el documento del examen o te lo estén aceptando ahorita digital, eso desconozco yo la verdad. Pero sí hay instituciones que te aplican un examen y te tramitan el CENI.
Pues fíjese, es una muy buena opción, yo no sabía eso. Qué buena opción que nos comenta José Luis, que ya haces el examen y ellos mismos te puedan tramitar el CENI, ¿no? Qué buena opción es esa.
Sí, es que debemos de preocuparnos por cuánto cuesta, en dónde aplicar, es lo que comenta José Luis de que nos tramiten el CENI, porque el tiempo se va volando y nos vamos a quedar así como los muchachos que mala onda, pues porque ya salió la convocatoria.
Exactamente, así que ustedes pues en